What's up guys, my name is Ace, and this week Battlefield hosted a Q&A answering a bunch of questions primarily about what's to come with the game throughout the rest of the year. You guys might remember I made a video talking about this 2026 roadmap that they provided for us, giving us an indication of what we can expect going forward, and there's a bunch of great things in here, like a proper server browser coming, Platoons, proximity chat, combat tuning, a bunch of things. And so today we got some updates in some cases on timelines, in other cases just clarifying a few points on that. And I wanted to go over that today. And let's just dive right into this. The first thing they talked about here is proximity chat. Apparently it is on track to be releasing later in season 4, so that's great to see. We don't have to wait till like the end of the year or anything. Next, the thing I've been most curious about is the server browser. And with this, they said that they are aiming to launch it during season 5. And most importantly, one of the biggest questions that's been surrounding this server browser since they announced it is how is it going to work exactly, and is it going to be integrated with the standard matchmaking system? Meaning, if you go to the server browser and select a game there, will people that just hit the matchmake button also be able to get into that same server, or are they completely separate systems? And of course, the big hope is that they are integrated so that the lobbies will refill quickly, so you have the best of both worlds, where if you want to just hit matchmake and let the system pick for you, you can do that. Whereas if you want that extra control with the server browser, you can do that, and you're all playing together in the same games. And what they said here is they're planning for official servers to be easy to identify, support full progression, and remain supported by regular matchmaking so active matches can continue to be backfilled. So yes, as far as we can tell, at least so far, it looks like they're handling this the right way, where matchmaking will be integrated with that server browser. So everybody's still playing in the same lobbies. You're not splitting up the player base even more. And then on top of that, they did mention they're also working toward a more persistent match flow where possible, with the goal of keeping more players together across matches while still respecting individual matchmaking choices. So it looks like we may be seeing at least partially persistent lobbies, and perhaps people that have like multiple selections with their custom search, they'll end up getting pulled out of the match after it's over and it'll rematch make for them. This definitely brings up a few more questions that I've got about this system for sure. I'm always a big fan of persistent lobbies where it's 100% up to the player if they want to leave the lobby and search again, or if they want to stay for that rematch, or maybe you just have a really good connection in that lobby, for instance, or just a really good time in that lobby and you want to stay with that lobby going into the next game. I think everybody should have the ability to do that if they choose to. So I am very curious to see what they meant by that final sentence there. Either way, like I said, we'll be seeing that in Season 5, which is a little bit unfortunate. There's still going to be quite a long wait for that. It won't be till significantly later in the year. But then after that, they talked a bit about Platoons, which will also be arriving in Season 5, or at least that's the current plan. And this will allow you to create a platoon of up to 100 members that just allows you to party up more easily with people in the same platoon. And it will also support different join setting with leadership tools to help manage membership. And also, people who play together with their platoon will earn XP bonuses. And that sounds great to me. As for the next thing they addressed here, this is existing map improvements, specifically to Blackwell Fields and New Sobek City. With this, they mentioned later in Season 5, that's when they're planning on having these updates roll out. So again, nice to see some communication on this and a bit of a better timeline. Kinda sucks that we're gonna have to wait that long for that, but at least we do have a timeline now. Then they talked about multiplayer rank, but not really. They basically just said it's progressing along following the launch of Ranked Battle Royale, but they didn't really provide any details. They just said it's coming during a future season. So it seems like they don't really have things nailed down with that yet, and I suspect we probably won't be seeing it in like Season 4, for instance, because of that. And those are the main points that they addressed at the beginning. However, they also just included a bunch of questions and answers. And I'm not going to go through literally every single one of these. I will leave it linked down below if you are interested in reading through all of them. I mainly just wanted to stick to the ones that I find interesting or that we actually got an interesting answer for, because with several of these questions, we got essentially a non-answer where they'll just say like, yeah, that's important to us, but there's no timeline or any indication of what they're actually going to be doing about it. But the first one here, when asked about if they're reviewing recon balance or considering adjustments to spotting mechanics in future updates, the important part of this answer at least was that they do have some improvements that they're looking at making to make enemy recon drones easier to see, as their icons are unintentionally too difficult to see over distances than intended. And they said that's actually going to be coming later in Season 3. Then when asked about the ability to throw grenades back, they said that's something they're interested in trying out in Battlefield Labs, so they can evaluate how that fits into the system. But they said they don't want to promise that it will come back. They're just looking into it. Another one that I've seen quite a few people asking about is, will they be expanding the casual experience? Because we've only had casual breakthrough up until now, and some people want to play like casual conquest, for instance. And unfortunately with the answer, they just said that they're adding casual battle royale in Season 3, Phase 3, but no word on any future casual multiplayer modes. Then when asked if there would be any more operations added this year, they said they are looking at bringing in more operations in the future, as well as bringing back Operation Augur. And they will be communicating more details on that and improvements that'll be made to the mode as well. Next, somebody asked if they had plans to bring back map-changing evolutions back to future map additions. They did mention they're looking at massive destruction set pieces in some of the Season 5 maps. So we might see a little bit of Levelution going on with that. As for another big thing that I've really wanted to see with the game, somebody asked if we would be seeing console-only crossplay as a feature in the future. And unfortunately, the answer is they've discussed it, but there are drawbacks to having it. So basically, no, doesn't look like it's coming anytime in the foreseeable future. And they did clarify that they always try to prioritize matching console players with other console players if possible, but then it will also allow PC players to join to fill up a server. So that is unfortunate. I understand that there are drawbacks there. I had hope that they had enough of a player base to be able to support that, but apparently it would be splitting them up too much. Next up, somebody asked if they plan on introducing more aim penalties for those that constantly jump spam. And the answer is no, they have no new aim penalties planned right now, but they do plan on speaking about extensive details on movement and gunplay balance in the coming weeks. Another one that is just a quality of life thing, but it's something that many in the community have been begging for a while now. Will we ever see a mark all as seen button? And they said yes, they are going to have a clear all markers button across several menus coming in Season 3, Phase 3. So that's nice to see. Not only is it coming before the end of the season. Next up, something they have talked about in the past is how they are currently testing various gunplay adjustments. And one of those adjustments is the addition of limb multipliers, at least for some guns, not necessarily all of them. So you're going to be dealing less damage to the limbs. And somebody asked what the expectations for limb multipliers will be once it's in the live game. And they basically just said that close range, you'll still be able to kill very quickly, but it's primarily for longer ranges where you're going to have to be more precise in order to avoid those limb multipliers and maintain your best time to kill potential. But they also reiterated limb multipliers is not the only thing they're looking at, and they'll be talking about gunplay very in-depth later in Season 3, ahead of the changes going live. And in a different comment, they did confirm that these changes are going to be released in Season 3, Phase 3. Another one that really applies to me is somebody asked if there will be any plans to adjust attachment costs to allow for more build variety. And the answer to that is no, not at this point. They're looking at general gunplay balance, and attachment usage is part of that, so they don't want to be changing that at the same time. And that is a little bit unfortunate. The main culprit here, as I see it in the game's current state, is various magazines. I just feel like extended mag costs in this are sometimes just ridiculous compared to the added utility that they provide, and in many ways they just don't seem to make much sense. But it looks like no change is planned for that in the near future at least. Next, another big piece of feedback we've been seeing since the beta of the game is, are there any plans for improved visibility or illumination on scopes and reticles? Essentially, the reticles are not properly illuminated, they're very flat looking and oftentimes blend in with the environment. And they mentioned here, yes, that's something they're actively looking into, and they are currently exploring improvements there, and they'll be experimenting in Battlefield Labs ahead of them arriving in the main game. So it looks like nothing coming in the super near future, at least to the live game, but at least it is something that they are looking into tuning. After that, somebody asked, why are snipers so easy to use in Battlefield 6? And they said they're actively working on this, and it will be part of the Season 3 Phase 3 update with Gunplay. They are going to be targeting sniper balance as well, particularly with projectile ballistics, and that's great news. The sniping in Battlefield 6 is the worst sniping I think I've ever played in a Battlefield game. And by worst, I mean not enjoyable, not fun, because it is so easy. It's just a point-and-click simulator, basically, rather than really having to think about and properly account for like bullet drop, bullet travel time, actually manually zeroing your gun in the case of the rangefinder as well. And then also you've got those big sweet spot ranges, which they have mentioned they will be tightening those up a bit. And then finally, for the questions that I felt were really important to cover here at least, somebody asked, will there be some optimization of matchmaking? And they said the team is looking into improving the matchmaking balance in both Battle Royale and multiplayer, and they're constantly looking at auto-balancing teams with the goal of getting matches to be fair without being heavy-handed. So we'll see if anything actually comes of that. I have definitely noticed, especially lately, it does seem like matches become very one-sided. So it's less the matchmaking I'm concerned with, but it's more so the team balancing. So hopefully we do end up seeing improvements here, but they didn't really give anything concrete when it comes to that. And there we go. That is going to wrap it up for the key points that I pulled out from the Q&A. Like I said, it is linked down below if you want to see all the questions and answers that they provided. But overall, as I've been saying, as we've been getting some information, the future of Battlefield 6, I think, is looking quite promising. They're making some excellent improvements going forward, it seems. Lots of great features coming back from older Battlefield games and new ones being brought in. It's just unfortunate that many of these are coming long after people have already abandoned the game. But that's okay, at least for the dedicated player base, things are looking up, at least in my opinion, based on what I've seen. And I'm very curious to see that really detailed blog on the gunplay changes, especially, that we're expecting before Phase 3 of Season 3. Now, of course, these are just my thoughts, and I'd love to hear what you guys think about all of this in those comments down below. Is there something from this that you are particularly excited about? Is there anything here that you were disappointed to see? Just let me know down below. If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.